Hello, I am Michelle,
And I'm Natalie the Red.
and we are at Force of Light Entertainment. Well, today we are going to give you our spoiler-free thoughts on the new HBO Max Zach Snyder's Justice League. Again, this will be spoiler-free and shorter. We're going to have, if you would like a more detailed discussion, we are going to be having a live-streamed discussion on this movie tomorrow night, Saturday night, at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So definitely check back in. Join us tomorrow for that.
It'll be a good time. And what's fun about the chat, you can share your thoughts.
Yes,
so we'll
yes.
get, in real time, get your input on what you thought about it. If you thought this was a big upgrade or what your thoughts are.
Yes, and we wanted to do it Saturday because we wanted to make sure we had gave time for people to watch it, especially because this is 4 hours long. So
it's a long one.
It takes some time. So we were trying to give you all time to have watched it, but that's why we're giving you our spoiler-free one today. Well, we'll get into it. Natalie, what were your initial thoughts of this?
My initial thoughts are I thought this was a vast improvement.
Yes.
From the 2017 Justice League. Kind of, in some ways, heads and tails better.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I was going to say.
Just to sum it up.
I was going to say, I think it's I could use, I guess, the exact same word she just used.
Just say ditto.
Yeah, ditto, because it was drastically better.
Yeah.
Even some of the same, basically, I discovered in this how important a director is, because even when Whedon took the exact same scenes that were Zack Snyder scenes, they're better in this version.
Well, and just even right down to some of the cheesy stuff is gone.
Yes, the tone is so much better in this movie.
So different, so much better.
Oh my gosh.
An improvement.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, because they do. There are still some of the jokes that he kept in it. They land for me.
Yeah,
because they don't feel out of place.
Right.
It feels like just kind of typical comic book kind of silly humor that there always is.
And I think, if this makes sense, and I'm sure it will to some of you that are kind of well-versed in both, he took out the Marvelness of it.
Yeah, he did. And of course, to me, visually, it just looks so much better when you didn't have that really funky color grading that just didn't feel right for this movie. And some of the visuals are just stunning, as Zack Snyder has some amazing visuals. But yeah, overall, of course, this is 4 hours long.
This is a commitment.
It is. And I think, what is it? There's part 6 and then the epilogue.
Yeah, because when I first started watching it, I was like texting Michelle, and it was like I was at like part 2 and it was only like an hour in or something like that. And I'm like, how many parts are there to this?
I think I told you, I thought there were 4 parts.
She thought there were 4. Yeah. So I'm like, well, how long is part 3 going to be? But then it ended up being more parts. So that made sense.
And I would say maybe it's the beginning of part 3. You're about an hour and 45 to 50 minutes in when it truly begins to kick into the second gear or really up to 4th gear and begins to get really intriguing.
But I will say I enjoyed actually some of the extra stuff. They gave you more context.
Oh, way more.
To, Cyborg in particular, the characters, some with the Flash. You got the Amazons. Like, you just got more information and more backstory as to, like, what the stakes are and what's going on here.
Yes. I mean, for on the Amazons, I still don't understand why they didn't just have the mother box to begin with in a safer spot. But but the scene itself was actually better. There's a line in it we'll get into in the spoiler discussion that I really liked. But yeah, it is. And I would say this, because them giving us all the footage, all 4 hours of the footage, there's a lot of things that if you were putting this out in a theatrical release, you would have cut.
Yeah, because, shaved down a little bit.
Yes, because my feelings about this movie, I really enjoyed it. There are moments you're like, come on, they're sprinkled throughout the movie. Even though I enjoyed the movie, like if you would have taken this cut, like that Zack Snyder just put out and trimmed it down to maybe 3 hours or just slightly over 3 hours, I think you have like an incredible DC movie. because I really enjoyed this movie. But the way they've done it, it's kind of like nothing we've ever had before. It's almost no longer a movie, but like a miniseries.
It is.
It's kind of how it feels.
It's kind of like, unless you're somebody, and let's be honest, we all have those days that we're happy to watch like 4 hours of television. Or most movies aren't 4 hours. That's why I say television. But sometimes, like with this, you might want to split it up, like, 2 and 2, like kind of give yourself some time in between.
In fact, I did.
It's a lot to take in, is the way I put it.
It is. In fact, I did. I started, I guess, too late for this last night and just kind of got tired around the 2-hour mark and went to bed and woke up and began playing it. So I split it 2 and 2, basically, is how I watched this movie. And again,
Michelle couldn't hang.
I got tired, guys. It'd been a long work week, but so you may want to split it up. It does keep you fresh that way if you do it that way. But I did really enjoy it. And again, the cheesiness was removed. The tone is just so much better in it. And there's a lot more emotional weight, I think, in this version of the movie. And again, if Zack Snyder were to take this movie and trim it down to around the 3-hour mark, I mean, just awesome, incredible if that was released.
The villain was much better done, in my opinion, in this movie.
His voice was much more intimidating.
Yes.
And he looked visually better.
He did look a lot visually better.
He did. And without giving any spoilers, in Marvel Infinity War, Thor famously says, I should have gone, or no. Thanos tells him, you should have gone for the head. And I have to say, I do love, without really spoiling anything, let's just say the Justice League doesn't make that mistake.
Right, that's true.
A couple times they go for the head.
That they do.
And I appreciated it. Some of the fight scenes in this, when they all begin to come together, are just fantastic.
Yes.
Of course, anytime, this isn't really a spoiler, anytime Wonder Woman's theme kicks in, her theme and Superman's thing provokes emotion, and her theme makes me want to go.
It's like all right, let's go.
Yeah,
let's go.
I'm ready. Like, this is awesome. So there's just so many awesome moments. Of course, you get the black suit Superman. I'm not spoiling anything in that. We've all seen pictures of it, which
pretty cool.
It is cool looking. It doesn't really serve a purpose in this movie.
It was just cool.
He just apparently wanted to change of clothes. So.
I mean, we all do sometimes.
Yeah, he went for it. And Superman, obviously, well, kind of like he was in the one that came out in 2017, he's not in the movie near as much, but he hovers over the whole movie.
Yeah,
his presence is hovering over the entire story, or his lack of presence through most of the story, or at least over half of this. Yeah, over half.
Yeah,
of this movie. And so when you get him, it's really exciting, and it
is.
That's just kind of how I would. And I will say this too, something I'm thinking of. Which it is harder, I think, for Batman, because he is a human that just that knows martial arts and has these cool gadgets. But in the final fight scene, I feel like this version gives him a lot more to do, where he felt more useful.
I was going to say, I liked Batman better in this movie, in this version.
Yes, definitely. I think Batman is, and they removed some of his cheesy lines. And
they didn't make him and Aquaman near as cringy in this one.
Yes, and something else.
Their interactions, I mean.
Something else. I don't think this is that spoilery. I don't think so. They the way they altered their discussion of bringing Superman back. It worked way better for me in this version.
True, I agree.
Without all their bickering. It was a lot. It's just a lot smoother, and it just felt more organic. Right. I don't know. It did.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. And something too, even though she's not in this movie much, Amy Adams is Lois Lane. This movie, again, it does a better job of dealing with her grief.
Yes.
And I really loved her and Diane Lane's discussion.
Yeah.
Or Diane Lane, Martha Kent's discussion, because they have a similar discussion in Whedon's version. which made me be like,
kind of towards the beginning,
yes,
right? Yeah.
Which made me think, why didn't he just use that footage? Because it's a great conversation.
Right.
Because I prefer their discussion in this one. It truly, for anyone who's lost someone, there's some touching moments in it and some good lines. They just deal with grief good in those scenes.
They do, kind of in different ways throughout this movie.
They do, yes. So there's that emotional weight throughout this movie. And I just have to say, as someone who my whole life has loved comic book movies and especially Batman, there were so many moments, not just with Batman. I can name several moments that the nerd in me just smiled. Like, that's all I could do. It just put a smile on my face, some of these big moments, because they were awesome for people who like comics.
And I think the fun thing about a movie like this, with all of our, some of our favorites coming together, and we all have our personal favorites, is it's fun to watch them come together and fight something and, see them in action. But, I guess we all have our favorites, but like, it's just still fun to watch them together. Like, I do not just say this because I'm a woman, but like, for me, Wonder Woman is kind of a standout.
Wonder Woman's my standout of this, even though, say, like I always call him Cyborg. Cyborg is so much better in this.
Like, I really liked, it's like it kind of added a lot to him.
Oh, way.
And I was watching just a little bit on my way over here, kind of rewatching some scenes. And so I was briefly trying to explain to my daughter, and she was like, but why wouldn't he want to be that? Like that. And I'm like, I know, right? Like, he can like do anything. That's so cool. He's got like the most awesome abilities, and just, we'll get into specific scenes tomorrow.
He's kind of like a Terminator.
He is.
But that has better,
but with heart and soul, so.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's really cool. And the other thing I was going to say real quick, Izzy kind of surprised me, because I was talking about how cute, Izzy, my daughter, I was talking about, how cute we think Superman is. And she's like, no, I'm not a Superman girl. And she's like,
no, like, is she related to me?
she's like, I'm more of a Batman girl.
Well, I
just kind of surprised. She's like, I just feel like I relate to him a little more.
Okay, but she wasn't meaning his looks.
I think she did.
I don't think so. We're gonna have to have
all of it.
We're gonna have to have a discussion
clarify
tonight, and we'll tell you what she says tomorrow, because I did grow up a Batman fan. But I've really grown to love Henry Cavill's Superman.
I think he's a little more realistic, I think, but it's like, I like all of it, but
yeah. But regardless, Wonder Woman was my standout character. She has some really awesome scenes. I guess I'll quote some of the lines she says tomorrow that really got me.
I mean, she just, and even in our roast a few nights ago, to me, I told Michelle, I guess last night or today when I was watching it, she was the best thing about the first Justice League.
To me, she was.
And this, everybody kind of gets stepped up,
Yes.
It's like everything, it makes it a little more equal, but she's still a standout in my humble opinion.
Yes, she definitely is a standout. And I would say this, after Wonder Woman 1984, that went kind of more the peaceful Diana route, I now definitively can tell you that I prefer the warrior Diana. Yeah. Like the shield, the sword, like she's truly a warrior in this movie. And that's just that's peak Diana to me.
I mean, that's her at her best. I mean, she's just awesome, but it's like, she'll take bad guys out, and then she's, smiling, talking to a kid, and giving them encouraging words. So it's hard not to love Diana,
It is, and the Flash is fun, and I'd have to say
he is fun.
He still can't run a lick. I mean, that run, someone needs to teach the boy how to run. That's he's struggling. But there's a scene where it breaks. It shows his powers the first time you see it, and it's really cool the way it's done.
It is.
And then also I would say this is my favorite version of Aquaman to date.
Yes.
I thought Jason Momoa was excellent in this movie as Aquaman.
Absolutely.
He was toned down just a little from being too macho. Like
he's
very masculine, but at times they can make him almost ridiculous.
Like a caricature.
Yes,
sort of.
yes. And in this one, he felt a little more grounded, but still awesome. And they give him some awesome scenes too.
They do.
So all of them are fantastic. Really enjoyed the movie. Again, if I'm being real, if you were to cut that into a 3-hour movie, that's a phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
But as is, it's like an interesting miniseries, and I had a lot of fun watching it. and thought it was so much better than what we got in 2017. I really don't understand why Warner Brothers didn't just allow Zack Snyder to make it a 3-hour movie, which, hey guys, this is kind of a situation of just believe in yourself. Know what you got, Warners, because just a few months later into 2018, your old rivals Marvel was about to release a 3-hour movie, and it would make them like $2 billion?
It's not like 3-hour movies haven't been done.
All the Lord of the Rings, Titanic, very successful movies, guys.
Like, it happens.
It does. So it's just such a shame they didn't go with that back in 2017. But this is such a fan movement, and it's so cool for everyone who's so rooted to see this, to finally get to see this film. And I had a lot of fun with it and thought it was just so much better.
I did too. I'm about an hour in, so I'm going to watch the rest of it
for a second time.
For a second time, for a second time. I don't want you to have to watch it before our discussion tomorrow night. So join us there and let's chat about it. I'm excited, but I'm excited to watch it because it is so long. So there is so much to take in, but to take it in a second time, and really catch extra details.
So let's rate it before we get out of here for today. So Natalie, how many hoots out of 5 hoots?
I'm going to give it 4.5 hoots.
4.5. Okay, I'm going to give it 4.5 hoots too. It was really good. And here's the thing: Zack Snyder, out of Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, they've always grown on me the second and third time I've watched them. So I have a feeling this will grow on me even more.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. If you haven't watched it, definitely, if you like these stories, if you liked the Zack Snyder movies at all, I think it's worth watching.
I think there's a high probability you'll enjoy this.
Yes. It's way better than the 2017 version. So definitely check it out. It's on HBO Max.
A lot better.
It is a lot better. So definitely try that out. But that's kind of it for our non-spoiler discussion review of Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is now streaming on HBO Max. And tomorrow, definitely stay tuned and join us. We would love to hear, and go ahead and tell us below what you guys think of the movie. But we would love for you to join us tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow, if you're watching this, is Saturday, Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to have a guest, and we're going to have a fun discussion, just discussing this movie, giving all of our thoughts and going into a little more detail and spoiler detail. So definitely check back then.
And like I said, that's what's fun about a live stream. Like, we love having you guys in there and giving your opinions, seeing them in real time. Like, when we say something, you react to it. We love that. So join us.
Yeah, definitely join us. And if you have not yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and also hit the notification bell. That way, every time we upload a new video, it's right there waiting for you when you get on YouTube in your notifications. Well, thank you for joining today's show. We hope to see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. And as always, guys, remember to be a force of light. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.